All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're unpacking the big ideas from Raoul Vaughn's influential founder. And look, this is really for any entrepreneur out there who feels like, man, I'm putting in more work than ever, but I'm just getting more and more invisible. If that hits home, you are absolutely in the right place.
And this quote, wow, it just nails the feeling, doesn't it? You're working harder than ever, and somehow you're becoming more invisible. It's that feeling of shouting into a black hole. You're making better stuff, you're consistent, you're doing all the things they tell you to do, and yet your reach is just shrinking. I'm here to tell you, you are not crazy. It's not in your head. This is real, and there's a very specific reason why it's happening.
So we're kicking things off with what Vaughn calls the invisible crisis. And this is so important. This isn't about you doing something wrong. It's not a bad content strategy. It's about waking up and realizing the game has fundamentally changed. The whole system is different, and the old playbook, it's pretty much useless now.
Okay, so here's the deal. You're essentially fighting a war on three different fronts at the same time. First, you've got the social collapse. Your posts just aren't reaching the people who followed you in the first place. Then there's the paid media trap. You're throwing more and more money at ads that just don't work like they used to. And the third front, the new one, the attribution crisis. AI is literally taking your ideas, your insights, and then completely forgetting to mention your name. You're getting erased.
All right, so let's look at the actual numbers behind this feeling, because it's not just a feeling. Vaughn calls this the great erasure. And wow, the data is pretty jaw-dropping. We're not talking about a small dip here. We're talking about a full-on, documented collapse of the old way of doing things. Take a look at this. Just think back to 2020. You'd post on Instagram, and a pretty decent chunk, over 10% of your followers, would see it. Now, we're looking at maybe 2 to 3%. That's not a small drop. That's a cliff. A nearly 90% drop in just 5 years. So your audience might be getting bigger, but the number of people who actually see your stuff is getting smaller. How wild is that?
And what about the fix, right? The thing everyone said to do? Just run ads. Well, that broke too. Remember when Apple rolled out those iOS 14 privacy updates? That basically shattered the way ad targeting worked. The result? A 38% drop in your return on ad spend. To put it simply, for every dollar you were spending, you suddenly got 38 cents less in return. You're literally paying more to get less. And this is the new kid on the block, the new big threat. Let's say you play the game perfectly. You nail your SEO, you grind it out, and you hit #1 on Google. Amazing, right? Well, not so fast. Because now, there's a better than 50-50 chance that Google's new AI overviews will just scrape your information and not even mention you. It uses your work, but you get zero credit. No crick. Nothing.
When you lay it out on a timeline like this, you can see it so clearly. This wasn't some random fluke. It was a series of very deliberate moves. 2018, Facebook changes the algorithm. Boom. 2021, Apple drops the privacy bomb on ads. Boom. 2024, Google puts AI at the top of search. Boom. And where is this all heading? Well, the projection is not great. By 2027, organic reach for most of us could be under 1%. Basically, zero.
And all of this, every single point, leads to one big, crucial takeaway. The system isn't broken. It's actually working perfectly for them. Think about it. The platforms make money when you have to pay to reach your own audience. The AI engines win by using your expertise for free. Your invisibility has become their business model. Let that sink in.
So, what now? Well, this brings us to a huge fork in the road, a real turning point. According to Vaughn, the entire world for founders is about to split right down the middle. He predicts that by 2026, there are only going to be 2 types of founders left standing, and the decisions you're making right now, today, will decide which group you fall into.
And these are the 2 paths. It's so clear when you see it like this. On the left, you've got the invisible founder. They're building their entire business on rented land. Social media platforms where they don't make the rules. But on the right, you have the influential founder. They're doing something totally different. They're building owned infrastructure. They're building their own house on their own land.
Okay, let's really spend a second here because this table is everything. It's the whole argument in a nutshell. Look at the difference. For distribution, one founder owns their channels, email, SMS. The other just rents space on an algorithm. For visibility, one gets cited by AI, the other just gets summarized and erased. And the audience relationship, it's either direct and permission-based, or it's totally dependent on some platform. It's not just a small difference, it's a completely different way of building a business. One is built to last, and the other, well, it's living on borrowed time.
And this is maybe the most important thing to remember. You don't accidentally become an influential founder. It just doesn't happen. It takes a conscious choice, it takes deliberate work. Because the default path, the path you're on if you just keep doing what you're doing, that path only goes one way, straight toward invisibility. That's the drift.
All right, so we've laid out the problem, we've laid out the choice. It's pretty stark. So now let's talk about the solution. What do we actually do about it? Vaughn provides a really clear blueprint for this. He calls it the 3 authorities, and it's basically the infrastructure you need to build to become immune to all this craziness. Here it is. This is the plan. It's a 3-step system. Step 1, you build what he calls attention authority. This is all about owning your audience. Step 2, you build the authority engine. This makes you the source that everyone, including AI, has to cite. In step 3, the AI authority amplifier. This is how you scale your voice without sounding like a robot. And you see how each one is a direct counterpunch to one of those problems we talked about? It's brilliant.
So first up, attention authority. Think of this as your shield against that social media collapse. Forget begging the algorithm for attention. You build your own channels, your email list, an SMS list, a private community. You are in control. You own that relationship, period.
Then there's the authority engine, and this is the silver bullet for that whole AI attribution crisis. It's a mind shift. You stop just making content, and you start creating original, citation-worthy research and ideas. Stuff so good, so unique, that AI models and the media have to name you as the source. You become the origin point.
And finally, the AI authority amplifier. Now, this is key. It's not about having AI write your post for you. No way. That's the fast track to sounding generic. Instead, you use AI as your personal orchestra. You come up with the brilliant human ideas, and then you let AI conduct the orchestra to repurpose and scale those ideas everywhere. It's how you stay present without completely burning yourself out. It's human for the trust, AI for the scale.
All right, we're coming to the end here. And this is where we need to get really serious. Because it's one thing to understand the problem and see the solution. But the real message, the thing you have to take away, is the urgency. This isn't something you can put on the back burner. The window to make this choice, to build this new system, it's closing. And it's closing fast.
And this last quote just says it all, perfectly. The founders who win won't be the ones who work harder within that system. They'll be the ones who built a different system entirely. The game is over. Trying to hustle harder inside a broken system is a guaranteed way to lose. The real winners, the ones who will thrive, are the ones who step outside of it and build something new, something they own.
So that leaves just one last, very big question for you. Looking at everything we've talked about, which future are you building right now with the actions you take every day? Are you on the path of the invisible founder, totally dependent on platforms that are actively trying to make you invisible? Or are you on the path of the influential founder, the one who builds their own infrastructure and owns their own future? Really think about it. The choice right now is yours.